has been like months since I recorded a video. I had to actually go back and review the last video and see when I did it. And I think I did it like in March, and it's now almost August. In fact, this is July 31st. It's been several months. Obviously, there's a reason why I haven't done a video. There's been a lot happening in the last few months. I had actually, okay, so when I did that last video, I was at the ranch in Arizona with Lene for a couple of months, and I was going to leave after Easter and go to New Mexico. My plan for the summer was to spend a month in New Mexico, and then as my make my way up to Colorado, spend a month in Colorado, and then spend like July in Wyoming. And I got to New Mexico, and I think I was there for 3 nights, and there was an issue with my mom, and I can't remember exactly now what the details are. It's amazing how you do, if you're working through stuff and you don't hold on to the stress, you do forget it. I think she fell, and we had to end up getting her to the hospital, lots of pain. And we had to make the decision it was time for her to be on hospice. Not because she's dying, but because me and the caregiver, with our limited ability to manage her care, could not get her pain under control. And that was her issue, is that she was having major pain issues, and it was causing stress on all of us. So I hitched up my trailer and I went back to Arizona because I can only drive so many hours pulling the trailer. So I went back to Arizona, got my bearings, and then I think I left the trailer. No, I came out here with the trailer. How many times have I bounced back and forth? I bounced back and forth many times. Let me just say, it's like this whole experience was, I can't say that it's not what I expected it to be, because I really didn't have a whole lot of expectations, but I really did not expect to come back to Temecula. But I've been back here now for a couple of months. Yeah, I came back. We got mom in hospice. And that's when I decided I better just stick around, not be too far away from my mom, because I don't know what's going to happen. It's not been quite a year since dad died. I've also been here, and I've had a couple of times to have my grandchildren. Great campground. I've had my granddaughters for a couple of, like I think 2 or 3 sleepovers. 3, I think, since I've been here. I've been able to see my son a couple of times. I've seen my mom, obviously. I've seen a few friends. In the last video, I was saying that I've become a recluse and have abandoned any sort of circle of friends, which is, it's okay. It really is okay. You realize as you get older, you don't need to have that many, like, constant friendships going on. But I have seen the people that were important to me that I reached out to, the people that have stuck by me during my troubles. I can count them on 4 fingers. I know I'm in good spirits today. It's been it's been a roller coaster. So following up on the novel, it's called Dead Air. Actually, Dead Air, The Day the Music Died, and is a modern day War of the Worlds story where a group of radio stations have their transmitters hijacked by what I call pirates, for like pirate radio. And the story follows 4 main characters who work inside a radio station: the chief engineer, the radio personality, the program director, and the market manager, and how they're coping with battling and figuring out what they're going to do about their radio stations getting hijacked. They don't have the FM anymore, but they have their AM, and they can do battle with their AM station. So I think the last time I talked about these consultants, or people that I'm getting research from. I've actually had a couple of more as I worked on my draft. I wanted some FCC information about emergency alert system broadcast. And so I called an FCC attorney, a very highly respected one. And then I talked to a retired, but former Los Angeles broadcast engineer who I know. He used to work for CBS Radio, which is up on Mount Wilson, but then he also worked for an AM station for Angels baseball. And I called him up, and we had a really good laugh, because I said, listen, I told him about the premise of the story, and he liked it. And I said, listen, I know it's fiction, right? The book is fiction, but I want my facts to at least be plausible enough as the engineering goes, so guys like you won't roll your eyes when you read the book. And he laughed and he goes, okay. He helped me with a couple of things, research, actually. And then I hired a development editor and sent it off to him. And he read it and reviewed it and came back with a ton of notes of how to improve the story. And there was a lot of elements I needed to fix. There's some things I'm really good at, and things that I needed to work on. And I actually loved that whole process. And so right now, you can see, I posted it back up on the wall. So this is draft number 2. Actually, I would probably say once you get through one draft, you can't. I think I started like chapters 1 and 2, like over and over again for years. And then I breezed through, and I don't want to say breeze through because it wasn't easy, but after my last video, I really just buckled down and just wrote and got myself into the weeds a little bit. This is the first time, this is my first attempt writing a novel. So I'm extremely pleased with that. But then now I'm working on the draft, but I've had more conversations with people after I talked to the programming consultant at one point. He'd wanted to pitch it to the premier radio management and trade magazine in the industry to see if they wanted to get behind it or help. I haven't had an answer on that, and it's been months. He did send them information off to them, had me create a little blurb about it with a picture of maybe cover art sample, which I did all of that, but I am getting attention from radio people. There's actually a group, believe it or not, in Facebook called I Take Pictures of Transmitter Sites. Seriously. And I'm in that group. And somebody had posted some really cool pictures of Mount Wilson, an aerial shot of Mount Wilson, which is the main scene of my story. And I'd asked him if he had any other shots of it, and I'd love to use something on my book cover. I had already had pictures taken of Mount Wilson that I've taken myself, but a professional one with better quality would be really awesome. So he said, absolutely. All I want is credit for my picture on your book. I've been working through the grief. I got to tell you, it's like writing this novel is really helpful with my grief process because I can, in my mind, hear my dad chuckle when I write something clever, because that's how he would respond to me. He thought I was clever. So it is helping me with my grief process because I'm not sitting here just ruminating on sad things that occurred or my grief or how I miss him or worrying about my mom and how she's handling things or anybody else. I'm deep in a novel that I'm writing myself. And I love the process. And honestly, I have dozens of others I want to write. So this one, I am very highly motivated to finish it and get it published. In fact, I actually started on the next one when this was with the editor. I had a couple of weeks to do something else, and we're still working on my Tree of Life book. And I started working on Radio and Records Cafe, just notes, not any kind of outline or anything. It's really helpful to have some of these instructional books that I have and worksheets and workbooks. I find that I work better that way when I can be structured. I've always been that way with my creative processes. I had my granddaughters for a couple of times, and there's a little lake here. I'll put a little video in the show what we've been doing. And so I've been able to get Kismet swimming in the water. I know it's like he's a golden retriever. It's normal. It's natural. But we hadn't really been around this kind of environment. We've been in the freaking desert. So here we are at a campground, and there's a lake that he could go swimming in, and he loves it. It is so fun to throw the ball in and have him go after it and teach him how to swim and run around. And he loves it when my granddaughters come, and he's not sleeping in the crate anymore. I took him out of the crate and folded the crate up, and he hasn't been in it for months. I wanted to do the Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. I've only really been able to do bouncing back and forth from Arizona to California. I got to New Mexico, then she came back. I look at this as the universe, God, whatever, saying it's not time yet for you to go that far. Mom had 2 falls in 6 months. And she cracked her head open and had to go to the hospital. And that's significant. She's 86. And one more fall, she could break her hip. If I'm more than 1 day's drive away pulling my trailer, that would be extremely stressful. So I don't want to put that kind of stress on me. So I'm just trying to adapt my plans. I'm not going to be more than a day's drive away. The first time I was like, Santa Barbara, Pismo Beach. I did the California coastline on my first leg of the trip, and I got back to Arizona. Now I wanted to explore more, but I am landlocked right now in that I can't go too far. And it is less expensive for me to leave and park my trailer and stay at the ranch in Arizona with my friend Lene. So I'm going to do that. I have 2 months until I go back to the ranch. And the reason I'm not back there sooner is because it's hotter than hell in Arizona, in Mesa, near Phoenix. It's, as I do this video, I think it's probably 113 degrees there, and it's 88 here. So I wouldn't go back there, not yet. So I'll wait until the weather changes. So I'm going to leave and go do some boondocking for a couple of months. And then by the end of September, which is my birthday, I will head back to the ranch in Mesa and probably just stay there till spring. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I have my novel to be finishing. The goal is to launch it and publish it sometime first part of the year so that I can do a major marketing campaign and do a book release, signing party, whatever, at the National Association of Broadcasters convention in April in Las Vegas. The countdown begins because typically a rule of thumb is you need 6 months to promote the release of a book. That would mean that I would need to start promoting it by October, which is fine. I'm on target. I think that this second draft that I'm working on, it won't take me but another couple of weeks to do. Then the next step is to do some more editing and then send it off to some beta readers, meaning friends of mine who will read the story and give me their feedback. And then if I have any more changes to make after that, I make those changes. And I'm probably going to use Ken at the end because I liked him and he already knows the story. So why not let him do the proofing and line editing? But I've got time. And meanwhile, while that's going on, designing the cover art, and I have some ideas on what I'm going to do there. I keep coming up with new ideas, and I'm really grateful that my mind is opening up to fresh ideas on what to do. I recognize that I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And some of the things that the business things that I used to try to get involved in, I'm no longer interested in. I'm really not. I loved speaking and performing, basically. And I did love doing the workshops. I do like it. However, I don't want to have to manage every single aspect of it, like book this place and sell the tickets and recruit people to come there and do all the marketing and all of that, and then still prepare the workshop and do the workshop. That was fine, but it was a lot of work to get to that, a lot of work and expense. I sat back and said, is that really what I want to do anymore? No, it isn't. If somebody wants to hire me to come and do a workshop, great. But that's not my focus anymore. My therapy practice keeps me plenty busy. And now that I have been able to reduce some of my expenses by not having to pay money and expenses for my parents, I can breathe financially again. And I just want to write these stories. We'll see where it takes me. I can acknowledge and admit that it might just turn out to be a hobby, but that's okay. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the creative outlet. I enjoy every step of the way. It's like making a quilt or choreographing a dance or painting a picture. After it's done, it doesn't matter what happens to it. Hopefully somebody will enjoy it. Then I can start on the next one, because that is how I did my speaking engagements and my workshops and my projects is also my digital products. I had the Apple a Day, and then I had the Badass program, and not that any of them failed. They didn't fail. They were fine. I just needed to move on to the next project. That's going to be my update for now. Yes, I'm a bit cheerful. I'm a little nervous about leaving, and I'm not sure why. By the time I leave, it'll be almost like 2.5 months that I've been stationary. Great spot, though. I'll show you pictures. I've had a very cool spot with lots of privacy and no one moving around me. And the dog has loved it. I've got to have my granddaughter several times. Friends have come out to see me. I've grilled. It's been like a total camping experience. But meanwhile, I have been doing the editing on my novel, and I've been working on my Tree of Life book, which is important to me, and seeing family. So it's been a very productive, profoundly helpful time spent here. But I am going to go, and I have mixed feelings about it. I guess because right now there's like tons of wildfires going on in California, and I'm like, it's one going to come my way, but I have to realize what you do, just hitch up and go. That's the idea. So that is the plan. Oh, let me show you what I've done. I had somebody so I made some changes. I know that one of my videos, I showed the couch and how I was going to exchange it and get something different, but I wanted Kismet to be able to lay on it. But I did end up doing it, and I came up with an alternative. I had him blanket made. So now we have this little couch here. It's a little love seat kind of a thing with a chase lounge. So this stays out. And then I have my desk, my workspace over there. I had new pretty macrame curtains made here. And I put some crystals from Sedona in there. While I was in Arizona, this is what I had Lene do. She made me some curtains. I've done that and looked at it as, all right, I spent the first year of trailer life trying to learn the mechanics and understanding the systems and troubleshooting. And now I'm pretty confident that I know what I'm doing. And then after that, I was like, now I get to turn into a girl and I get to decorate. So I did all that, and I'm really happy the way it came along. And I don't really feel like I have much more to do. This is my life. The Adventures of Kelly and Kismet continue.